Imagine a town where children go missing, only to be found days later brutally murdered, their heads missing, and their bodies discarded in deep wells. It's a nightmare no one can escape. But the scariest part, the killer is still out there, watching, and no one knows who he is. He's not lurking in the shadows, he's living among them, blending in like any ordinary man. For years, the town lived in constant fear, completely unaware that the monster they were searching for could be someone they passed by every single day. Who could commit such horrific crimes? Let's explore who the killer truly was. Chapter 1: A Dark Beginning. Hoshang Amini was 6 in the small town of Varamin, Iran. From the very beginning, his life was filled with pain and struggle. His father left the family when Hoshang was just a child, and he grew up in poverty. He was often mistreated by other family members, and loneliness was his only friend. Despite all the hardships, no one could have guessed that this quiet boy would grow up to become one of Iran's most feared killers. Hoshang lived a quiet life, rarely drawing attention to himself. He found comfort in poetry and music, but there was something else stirring inside him, something dark. As he grew older, Hoshang became obsessed with the idea of cleaning up the world by getting rid of people he saw as corrupt. He was inspired by another killer, Asghar, the murderer. Was Hoshang simply a victim of his painful past, or was there something deeper that pushed him to become a killer? The truth would soon be revealed in a way no one could ever have imagined. Chapter 2: The First Victim. In 1954, something horrifying happened. A young boy's body was found in a water canal in Nemitabad, a quiet area in Varamin. The boy had been decapitated, his head missing. At first, no one knew what to make of it, but as the bodies of other victims began to surface, all showing the same brutal signs of murder decapitation, and the bodies dumped in nearby wells, the police began to realize they were dealing with something far worse than a random act of violence. Who could commit such a chilling crime? What kind of person would go so far as to decapitate their victims and throw their bodies into dark, cold wells? The answer was closer than anyone could have imagined. Chapter 3: The Killing Spree. Hoshang Amini's killing spree continued, but it was getting worse. His victims were often young boys, lured from the streets with promises of food or money. He would take them to secluded places, tie them up, and then, with no hesitation, rape and strangle them. The worst part, he didn't stop there. Amini decapitated each victim, a cold ritual he performed after their death. The bodies were then thrown into wells, hidden from view, leaving the police with little evidence. Amini's killings were becoming more frequent, more brazen. The city of Varamin was on edge, but no one knew who to blame. How could someone so ordinary, so unremarkable be behind these gruesome acts? The killer seemed to be a ghost, slipping away each time, always evading capture. Chapter 4: The Growing Panic. As the body count rose, the city descended into panic. Children were warned not to leave the house alone. Parents slept with one eye open, fearful that their own children might be next. Rumors spread like wildfire. A child-eating cannibal was on the loose. Some claimed he had supernatural powers, others that he was a monster hiding in plain sight. But despite the growing fear, the police were no closer to finding the killer. How could they catch a killer who had no face, no trace, and seemed to be always one step ahead? The people of Varamin had no answers, only fear and uncertainty. Chapter 5: The Discovery That Changed Everything. It wasn't until 1962 that the breakthrough came. A court employee stumbled across a blood trail leading to a well on the outskirts of Varamin. When police arrived, they discovered the bodies of two young boys, their hands bound behind their backs and their heads removed. The victims matched the descriptions of the latest missing children, and after a closer investigation, the police realized they had finally found the killer's hideout. But who could be behind such brutality? What kind of person would do this time and time again? The answers were closer than anyone realized. Chapter 6. The Killer in Plain Sight. In the weeks following the discovery, the police intensified their search for the killer. They knew he had to be close. It wasn't long before they found him, hiding in plain sight. Hoshang Amini was arrested after a vagrant near the well recognized him as the man responsible for the murders. At first, Amini denied any involvement, but when a reporter arrived to interview him, Amini's calm demeanor took everyone by surprise. He confessed to 67 murders, each one as calculated and chilling as the last. What was disturbing was how ordinary Amini seemed. He wasn't a monster in a dark alley. He was a quiet, seemingly unremarkable man. How could someone like him be capable of such horrors? Chapter 7. The Cold Confession. During his trial, Amini's lack of remorse shocked the world. He spoke of killing with a sense of justification. He claimed he was cleansing the world of corruption, just as Askar, the murderer, had done before him. He didn't feel guilt for the lives he took. To him, his victims were simply bad people who needed to be erased. His coldness, his calmness was chilling. How could a man who had taken 67 lives speak so calmly, so indifferently? What made him believe that he had the right to decide who lived and who died? Chapter 8. The Final Moments. In December 1963, Hoshang Amini was publicly executed. The city of Tehran gathered to watch as he was hanged alongside another murderer. Before his execution, Amini was allowed one final act to recite a poem by Hafiz. As the trapdoor opened and he fell, he calmly declared, "Killing me will not solve anything. Go find the cause. You have so many doctors. There are 3,000 people like me in Tehran. I am not afraid." In his final moments, Amini seemed to show no regret. His death didn't bring the answers many had hoped for. The question remained, what made him commit these horrific acts, and why was he so unrepentant? Chapter 9. The Dark Legacy of Hoshang Amini. Hoshang Amini's story didn't end with his execution. His crimes and his chilling indifference to them would haunt Iran for years to come. Even after his death, his name became synonymous with terror. He left behind a legacy of fear, a trail of bodies that would never be forgotten. But the real question still lingers. Was Amini simply a product of his tragic past? Or was he a true monster, one who chose to murder for reasons no one could ever understand? The people of Varamin would never forget the ghost who lived among them, and the terror that came with his name.